is our gynecology topic, abnormal uterine bleeding, and I am presenting Dr. Sejal H. Patel from AP from the Obgyn Gynec. So let's start. So what is the normal uterine bleeding? It is 2 to 20 days variation with 4 to 8 day duration of the flow, mild or slight discomfort with pain and clot present or not present, with a volume of the monthly blood loss is 20 to 80 ml. This is the normal uterine bleeding. So what's the mechanism in the normal menstruation? In the normal menstruation, endometrial changes in the secretory phase is lengthening and coiling of the spiral arterioles towards the superficial layer of the endometrium. These spiral arterioles are end arteries which is supplied separate narrow longitudinal segment of the endometrium without any anastomosis. These are the end arterioles. In the premenstrual phase, these endometrial glands are emptied and fluid of the stroma is resorbed, endometrium is shrinked and the spiral arterioles become more coiled. Gaps appear between endothelial cell of the spiral arterioles. The leukocytes are migrate through the gaps into the stroma. These are the changes seen in the premenstrual phase. Now, immediately before menstruation, these spiral arterioles shrink intensely and then dilated with a massive extravasation of the RBCs into the stroma of endometrium, especially the spongy layer which comes out. Numerous blood lags appears and a lift of the island of devitalized endometrium. So, how the hemostasis of the endometrial regeneration occur? In the primarily this platelet block formation occur, and after 24 hours, the constriction of the spiral arterioles, swelling of the endothelial cell, which occlude the arteriole, and reepithelialization of the endothelium from the basal layer to the superficial layer, which is completed by 3 to 4 days. Okay, these are the hemostasis, how this hemostasis of the menstruation occur. So what's the normal duration and what is the characteristic and frequency of the menstruation? So in frequency, normally 28 to 38 day limits. If it is less than 21 days, the frequency is more, and frequency is infrequent if it is more than 38 days. Regular menstruation, its a cycle is variable over 12 month days. Variation is 2 to 20 days. Absent no bleeding, and irregular if it is variable more than 20 days. In case of duration of the flow, normal is 3 to 8 days. Prolong it is if it is more than 8 days, and shorten if it is less than 3 days. The volume of monthly blood loss, if normal 5 to 80 ml blood loss, if in case of heavy bleeding more than 80 ml blood loss, and in case of light bleeding there may be a 5 ml, less than 5 ml blood loss. One normally shocked regular pad is normally absorb 5 ml of the blood, and a super or maxi size hold 10 ml of the blood. Now comes to the AUB. What is AUB? Abnormal uterine bleeding is defined as a state of the abnormal uterine bleeding without any clinical detectable organic, systemic and iatrogenic causes. In case of iatrogenic causes like pelvic pathology, tumors, inflammations of and pregnancy should be excluded. There are many terms used in the AUB like menorrhagia, metrorrhagia, hypermenorrhea, polymenorrhea, oligomenorrhea, amenorrhea. So what are they terms said? So polymenorrhea is defined as the cyclical bleeding where the cycle is reduced to arbitrary limit of less than 21 days and remain constant at that frequency. Okay, less than 21 days is the main issue of this. Menorrhagia or hypomenorrhea, hypermenorrhea. Menorrhagia is defined as the cyclic bleeding at normal interval. The bleeding is either excessive in amount or in duration. It is more than 80 ml or more than 7 days. Both are included in the menorrhagia and hypermenorrhea. So what is metrorrhagia? Metrorrhagia is defined as the irregular acyclical bleeding from the uterus. So what is manometrorrhagia is the term applied when the bleeding is so irregular and excessive that the masses period cannot be identified. Right? And what is oligomenorrhea? Menstrual bleeding occurring more than 35 days apart and which remain constant at that frequency is called oligomenorrhea. So what is the cause of this abnormal uterine bleeding? Abnormal uterine bleeding in case of heavy menstrual bleeding, intermenstrual bleeding. There are two separate classifications. One is structural cause, that is PALM, and non-structural cause, that is COIL. What is PALM said? PALM is the polyp, A for adenomyosis, L for leiomyoma, submucosal myoma and other myomas, malignancy for M. And what is non-structural cause? That is C for coagulopathy, O for ovulatory dysfunction, E for the endometrial, I for iatrogenic, and N for not yet classified. These are the PALM-COIL classification of abnormal uterine bleeding in the recent years. What is the acute AUB? An episode of a bleeding in the woman of a reproductive age who is not pregnant, that in the opinion of provider is of a sufficient quality to require immediate intervention to prevent further blood loss. And what is chronic AUB is bleeding from the uterine corpus, that is abnormal in duration, volume and or frequency and has been present for the majority of the last 6 months. So what is structural cause? PALM. PALM is polyp, AUBP, described as AUBP. It may be endocervical or endometrial, detected by the ultrasound and sonography. Other sign and symptoms are irregular light bleeding, pain. Okay. The other is adenomyosis, that is AUBA. Controversial as a cause of bleeding. Maybe a hypermenorrhea, menorrhagia, metropatica. Diagnosed with ultrasound and MRI. Structural cause of L. L means leiomyoma. AUBL, that is submucous, intramural, subserosal. That can be diagnosed with examination, ultrasound, MRI, CT scan. The signs and symptoms are heavy, irregular bleeding, pain, degenerative fiber. And the other is structural cause is AUBM, that is malignancy and hyperplasia. Diagnosed with the biopsy, we have to take endometrial biopsy. The complaint of the patient is irregular bleeding. So in which patient and how we take this histopathology of endometrium. The history suggestive of acute and chronic, characteristic of bleeding pattern, menstrual bleeding including severity associated pain, AUB bleeding disorders, any medication she took, warfarin, heparin, NSAID, Ocipil, and any other medication if she takes, may lead to the endometrial hyperplasia. So we have to ask this all history to the patient. This heavy menstrual bleeding is from menarche or not? One of the following features we should be exclude. One is the PPH, surgery related bleeding, bleeding with a dental work. 2 or more of the following criteria should be fulfilled if it is under heavy menstrual bleeding. That is bruises 1 or 2 times per month, epistaxis 1 or 2 times per month, frequent gum bleeding, family history of the bleeding symptoms. Now come to the examination. Sign of the acute blood loss like pallor, tachycardia. General examination, the PCO suggests of obesity, hirsutism, acne, thyroid dysfunction to rule out, cold and heat intolerance, dry skin, lethargy, proptosis. In case of diabetes, acanthasis nigricans. Bleeding disorder are pateches, pallor, sign of hypovolemia. And in pelvic examination, Is it from uterus or from cervix or vagina? Systemic examination of abdominal examination and local examination should be included. What is the laboratory test we offer to this patient? That is complete blood count, urine pregnancy test. All the adolescent and adult with a positive history should be screened for the coagulopathies, bleeding time, platelet count, prothrombin time, partial thromboplastin time. Hematologist further testing should be done. TSH if it is clinically indicated. Other imaging investigation should be ultrasonography of the uterus, adenexa, endometrial thickness, Doppler study for AV malformation and malignancies, and 3D USG for intramyometrial lesion in a selected patient for the fibroid mapping. Other investigation are sonohysterosalpingography, intracavitary lesion, to see the intracavitary lesion, hysteroscopy to diagnose and characteristic for the intrauterine abnormalities, MRI to differentiate the fibroid and adenoma, and for mapping the exact location of the fibroid while planning the conservative surgery and prior to therapeutic embolization of the fibroid. So how to evaluate this uterine bleeding? First, we have to ask the history of other enhanced risk of the hyperplasia or neoplasia or both. If it is there, then took endometrial biopsy. Adequate specimen if we got, then we have to manage the AUBM. If it is not a risk factor, then it should be considered as a AUBE or O. If there is no any enhanced risk for the structural abnormality, then it should be considered in the AUBE. If it is present, then should we go for the TBS. Cavity are normal, then we should go for, if it is not normal, then we should go for hysteroscopy biopsy or a hysterosalpingography. If there are targeted lesion present, then should be considered as a polyp, glioma and adenomyosis for the treatment purpose. And if it is not present, then it should be considered as a AUBE or A. Endometrial histopathology. By the endometrial aspiration, usually we have to take a hysteroscopy also. DNC is not a procedure of choice in this patient. So, indications for the endometrial histopathology are the woman more than 40 years, women less than 30 years who have a high risk factor of the carcinoma endometrium like irregular bleeding, obesity, PCOD, hypertension, diabetes, endometrial thickness more than 12 mm, family history of the ovarian, breast, endometrial, colon malignancy, use of a tamoxifen for the HRT or breast cancer, late menopause, HNPCC, AUB unresponsive to the medical treatment. These all patients should be investigated for the endometrial histopathology. So how we do this office endometrial biopsy? We should use a Ram-Pibli endometrial curettage. By that we can insert it, negative pressure created, piston withdraw after withdrawing the piston, and there is a 180 degree rotation, 360 degree rotation of this Ram-Pibli in the cavity, and we can get this endometrial tissue inside the tube. So what is the management of this AUV? Medical management should be initial treatment for the most of the patient. In any case, we have a medical treatment as well as surgical treatment. So initially we have to give a medical management first. Then if the patient need for the surgery based on the various factors like stability of the patient, severity of the bleeding, contraindication to the medical management and underlying cause, this patient should offer a surgery. But the type of surgeries depend on the above factor as well as the desire of the patient for further fertility and the age of the patient. Long-term maintenance therapy after an acute bleeding is a control. If the patient is a acute AUB and if they are unstable, we should give a high dose of hormone as well as can do a DNC. In case of high dose hormone, we give IV estrogen 25 milligram IV 4 to 6 hours for 24 hours, or we can give endometrial balloon tamponade. In case of stable patient, one is the oral medication, that is monophasic ocipil, 1 TID for 7 days and then daily for at least 1 cycle. Then other is a medroxyprogesterone, 20 milligram TID for 7 days, then daily for at least 3 weeks. That is tranexamic acid. Okay. The management of AUBP in a younger woman, desire for further childbearing, hysteroscopic polypectomy. In case of the woman with multiple polyp and not desire for the further childbearing, hysteroscopic polypectomy and LNG IUCD can be inserted. Sand the polyp for the HPT. In case of AUBA, who desire for the childbearing, we can offer LNG IUCD, GnRH agonist with add-back therapy. If the patient is not desirous for the childbearing, long-term GnRH agonist with add-back therapy. Combine ocipil, danazol, NSAID, progesterone, and if the patient is not desired for the hysterectomy, we can offer a surgical treatment, that is hysterectomy. In case of AUBL, intramural or subserosal, if the patient is desirous for the fertility, we have to offer a medical management like tranexamic acid, ocipil, NSAID, long IUCDs, LNG IUCDs, and myomectomy. If not desired for fertility, we can offer a hysterectomy or GnRH agonist with add-back therapy. In case of submucosal fibroid, myomectomy should be done. Less than 4 cm, we can remove with hysteroscopic. If it is more than 4 cm, we have to do abdominal or laparoscopic myomectomy. Long-term treatment are LNG IUCD, progesterone receptor modulators like udipistol acetate or low-dose mifepristone. Intramural or subserosal myoma grade 2 to 6, tranexamic acid or ocipil, NSAID, LNG IUCD. If this all treatment fails, myomectomy depend upon the location. In the woman more than 40 years of age, fertility is not desirable. For all the fibroid less than 4 to 5 cm, medical management should be followed by hysterectomy. In short-term management up to 6 months, GnRH agonist with add-back therapy should be offered. Therapy followed by myomectomy can be given. Long-term management is LNG IUCD. Newer medical option are udipistol acetate and low-dose mifepristone, currently not available in India. Submucosal myoma grade 0 to 1 should be removed with hysteroscopic and abdominal open laparoscopic if more than 4 cm. Atypical endometrial hyperplasia, the surgical treatment should be done. Continued fertility is not desired, so they offered hysterectomy. Hyperplasia without atypia, LNG IUCD followed by oral progestin or modulators. AUBC, primary option is tranexamic acid and secondary option is hormonal treatment with ocipil, LNG IUCD, and NSAID are contraindicated in that patient. In case of AUBO, AUBE and AUBI, not desiring a contraception, not desiring childbearing, should be offered a contraception, that is ocipil, cyclic progesterone, LNG IUCDs for 6 to 12 months. Who desiring contraception, ovulation induction should be given. In case of surgical management, in case of polyp, we should remove it with a hysteroscopic, myomectomy, hysteroscopic, laparoscopic or open myomectomy, hysterectomy and endometrial ablation. Thank you. Thank you very much.